Hey everyone, welcome to week 2 of the MobileSpace video tutorial series. For those of you who are not aware, MobileSpace is a weekly meetup in San Francisco to enable developers to build their own mobile apps, starting with iOS. This week, we're going to be working on a MovieGuide iOS app with two learning objectives. The first is to make a request to a web API and process the JSON into model objects. And we're also going to be working with data persistence. This project is divided into 3 milestones. The first one is to pretty much set up all the views. So the way it's going to be laid out is we're going to have a first stable view controller, which displays all the movies. And then when you click on one particular movie, you'll segue into a detailed movie controller, which would display the details of the particular movie. The second milestone is going to be making the API call and processing the response into model objects. And the third milestone is going to be implementing persistence with the Realm database. The API we're going to be using for this project is the Movie Database API. And the endpoint we're going to be using is the now playing endpoint. So that'll pretty much give us a list of movies which are currently playing. And we're also going to be using 2 libraries. The first one is Almo Fire, which is an HTTP library written in Swift to help us make API calls. And the second one is going to help us load an image from a URL. So with that out of the way, let's dive in and create the views for our app. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new project. So create new Xcode project, single view application. Going to call it MovieGuide. And okay, so it created the project for me. I'm going to uncheck those. Let's start with the launch screen first. What I like to do is to uncheck the size classes, disable size classes so it looks like an iPhone. As well as I like to set the size to 4.7, so it's the size of a 6S. Okay, great. So on our launch screen, let's add an image and a label to show the user what the app is. So let me grab a label as well. For the image, in my assets, I'm going to add an image here. So that if I make that full screen, I can grab the image from my desktop. It's called Movie Popcorn. So I'm going to use Movie Popcorn right there. And I'm also going to set the width and the height. So the width is 300. The height is 569. Okay, so that looks better. And for my label, what I'm going to do is first of all call it MovieGuide. And I'm also going to make it custom. Let's say that, and I'm going to increase the size to 22. Okay, cool. So now that that's done, I can press Command equals to resize it. And let's start adding constraints in here. So for my image, I know that I want it to be horizontally and vertically in container, as well as I need to set a width and a height on the image. So I'm going to do that. Okay. And then for the label, I'm going to have it be such that it's on the image. So the constraints that I'm going to put is I'm going to say leading edge and top edge. Great. And now what I can do is I can pretty much just, let's not do that. So for my label, I can move it around and then just update constraints. So it's going to add those for me. So let's make sure that that's good. Let's make that -8. And let's make that -8 as well. Okay, cool. And then if I run this, yeah, not sure what happened there. Let's try that again. Okay, cool, that looks good. All right, let's move on to our storyboard. Over here, I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to disable the size classes and change the size to a 4.7 inch. Okay, and so I know that my first view controller is going to be a list of movies. So I'm going to use a table view to display a list of movies. And I'm also going to, before I forget, set the constraints on the table view. Okay, and once I have that, I'm going to drag it to cell. And for my cell, the way I envision it is it's going to have a poster on the left right here, and it's going to have the title centered on the cell as well. So we're definitely going to need a custom UI cell, UITableViewCell, and we're also going to need to change the cell a little bit. So for the height, why don't we do, say, something around 149, and then I'm going to have an image and a label. So let's grab the image and let's get a label as well. The image, let's change its size so that it looks more like a poster. So if my width is 90, I'm going to have 133 for the height, and I'm going to center him. Okay. So if I add those constraints, I'm going to say horizontally, oops, my bad, vertically in container. What is he crying about? All right, don't worry, I got you. Okay, and since it's an image, I'm also going to add a width and a height, right? And then he wants to know from the left, how far in am I? Great, cool. And then for the label, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say vertically in container, as well as from the left and the right, I want you to be 8 and 8. All right. And then I can update frames. Okay. And let me change the font on the label. So I can select that. And let me say font size is 20. And then I can say update frames. Okay. And to put an image in for now, let me actually get a default poster. So I have the Martian poster right here. So we can use that. So if I say Martian, cool. And then let's rename this to be the Martian. All right, I like that. Maybe on the left side here it's a bit too much on the left, so I'm going to push it to 15. Okay, great, I like that. So now that we have this set up, right, let's go back to our view controller and let's first create an outlet for the table view. And let's start hooking up the table view. So the table view, let me create an outlet, call it table view. All right, and then I need to use the delegate methods. So I'm going to say UI table view delegate UI table view data source. All right, and then I'm going to command click data source and grab the methods that I need. So as you see, all of these are optional and the first two are not. So I pretty much just need the first two methods. I'm going to paste it right there. And going to paste it right there. I'm going to get rid of these comments and make this a function. Make that a function as well. So for now, let's just return 0. And let's say let cell equals table view dot dq reusable cell with identifier. Actually, I need the index path as well. So dq reusable cell with identifier for index path. With identifier is going to be movie cell. With index path is going to be index path. And now I can say cell Right, and so this is where the custom view is going to come in, right? So let me create a custom view first. So I'm going to say new file. I'm going to go to source, Cocoa Touch class, and then this is going to be UITableViewCell. I'm going to call it MovieCell, and then create it. Okay, and now that I have that, let's hook it up on the storyboard, right? So let's tell this guy that you belong to the movie cell, so we can use it, and then we can start making connections. So I'm going to use the assistant editor. The first time it usually does this, so I'm going to select movie cell and create outlet. So I'm going to say poster image view, as well as movie. I'm going to just say title label. Okay, so now that we have our two outlets set up, we can go back to our view controller, and here we can say, hey, guess what? I know that the cell is of type movie cell, so let's typecast that, and now I have access to those two outlets that I just created, right? So I can say title label dot text equals SUI Suicide Squad, which is the movie, and then we're going to say cell dot poster image view dot image equals UI image named something, and then I can say return. So once I have set those, I can return cell. Okay, so for now that is fine. So let's return one cell, and let's also tell the delegate, tell the table view who the delegate is, which is itself, and also the data source equals self. Okay, so if everything is hooked up correctly, so we created on our storyboard, right? We created our table view, and then on our view controller, we also created a custom table view cell and hooked up both our image and our title. Then in our view controller view, we use the delegate and the data source for the table view, implemented the two delegate methods, as well as told the table view that the delegate is the view controller itself. So if I run this, cool, it crashed. What's up? How's it going? So it says, oh, that's right, because I haven't, so you remember I told it that it should be, that it's called movie cell. I didn't actually assign that to the cell itself. So in my reusable, I'm going to put movie cell right there. Okay, great. So yeah, so it changed the thing to Suicide Squad, but we don't have an image. So what I can do is I can just put the Martian image for now, right? So if I say, if I grab that from right there, and then if I say named Martian, all right, and then grab the Martian image for me. Cool, all right, so Martian, Suicide Squad, so that's looking good. What I also see is we need a navigation controller, a navigation bar. So we're going to embed that in. So we're going to say, click on the view controller, editor, embed in navigation controller. All right, and now here we can say MovieGuide. All right, let's run that. And also, for the heck of it, let's change that to 5. All right, MovieGuide, Suicide Squad, The Martian. All right, looking good. So now that we have that set up, let's add a new view controller on our storyboard, such that when a person clicks on this, on one particular movie cell, that a new sort of a detailed view controller opens up with more information about the movie. So I'm going to start by getting a view controller. And as you can see, this is the 4.7 inch. If you change that up, okay. And it's really simple. So pretty much all you do is select the movie cell and you control drag and you say, hey, push it for me. Okay. And then we can say movie detail. Cool. And then for here, the way I sort of imagine things to be laid out is I would have an image up here, which would be sort of our backdrop poster up on top right here. And then I would have a couple labels. One would be for the title. So I'd have that labeled somewhere over there. And then I would also have a label. So an easy way to copy a label is to press Option and drag. So it duplicates for me. The other thing would be the overview, right? So the title. So this is going to be the title. So let's call it movie title. Right, and then this one is going to be overview. Overview. Okay, and this one's going to be a backdrop image. So I do have a default backdrop image of the Martian. So we can use that for now for milestone 1. Right, so it's Martian BG underscore BG. So if I say, nope, not that, Martian underscore BG background. Right on, okay. So now that we have that, let's add constraints. All right, so let's say that for the image, right, I'm going to want to have 0, 0 on top, left, and right, as well as the width and the height. So that looks good to me. So I'm just going to add the width and the height right there. And I don't need to do this, but I'm going to also horizontally in container because I already have on both sides 0 and 0, so it's already going to be centered. For these two, for both of these, I'm definitely going to horizontally in container. What I'm also going to do for this one is I'm going to say I want you to be 25 from the top right there. I'm going to say update frames. And for this guy, what I'm going to say is I want you to be 8 from the bottom, from the left and the right, as well as 8 from the top. Okay, and so he's complaining about something. So if I did update frames right here, puts it all the way on the bottom. Okay, so let's try that again. Let's not do that. Let's get rid of that, yeah. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that I want you to be 8, 8, 8, and 8, right? Going to do something like that, something like that, something like that. I wonder what he's complaining about. Oh, okay. So it's talking about the hugging priority, right? Like which one should compress more and which one should not. So what is this guy saying? Set vertical. So I'm just going to follow this here. Set vertical compression resistance is to 751. Okay. So vertical compression resistance to 751. Cool. And then vertical hugging priority to 250. All right, great. So we got rid of that. So now I'm just going to update frames right here. Come on. All right. And I'm also going to center him, change the font up a little bit. And I'm going to say, make that 18 and do something similar here. So let's make that 22 as well as So update frames, update frames. All right, looking good. So if I run this, right, so let's rename that to be the Martian, and this, I really like the movie, I want to travel to Mars someday. Okay. So we also need to, as you can see, it's overflowing. So if you change the lines to 0, it's going to wrap around, and I can update frames on that. Okay, cool, I like that. So let's run this. Now when I click on a particular cell, it should take me there. Nice, so it takes me to the movie detail and tells me, hey, this is the Martian, gives me an overview and the backdrop image as well, and I can go back, and pretty much all of these are going to do the same thing, right? Okay, so this, I think, is a good place to end the milestone 1. And just to recap, what we did is we pretty much set up the basic designs and the views for this project. We started with the table view controller. So we set up a table view controller, and we also added a poster image and a title. And the way we were able to do that is by creating a new custom table UITableViewCell class, where we were able to create the 2 outlets. And then what we did is we created another view controller, which was our movie detail view controller, and here we pretty much created a backdrop image, title, and an overview. And we said every time that someone clicks on a particular cell, I want you to display the movie detail. So here, for every cell, it brings a new view controller and it shows me the information about a movie. Okay, great. So that's going to be it for milestone 1. Yeah, look forward to seeing you in milestone 2. See you.